All right, let's see what we can expect from the president. Cyril Ramaphosa is set to address the nation this evening on additional economic and social relief measures that form part of our response to the coronavirus. Let's cross to SABC's political editor, Mzwai Mbeje. Mzwai, any further news on when he's expected to speak firstly?
Thank you very much, Francis. Indeed, we now know what time the president will address the nation. So we've just been given the alert now that the president is going to address the nation at 8:30, so which is basically 1.5 hours from now. So he will then be speaking about a range of issues, those that you have just touched with a number of stakeholders there. So at least South Africans can now sit and watch and wait. At least they know what time the president will be speaking to them.
Mzwai, let's just look, we don't know what he's going to say. Let's look at some of the speculation, possibly a rejigging of the whole budget. MPs will have to approve that, a whole range of people involved in that. Could we see something like that tonight?
Absolutely. This address, Francis, is essentially about addressing the economic needs of South Africans, whether it's rejigging the economic situation that you know that at the moment is not very good. The lockdown has really led to a situation where the economic hardship has really increased. I mean, our economy was not doing well anyway. So given that now we have this added burden of the coronavirus pandemic, it then exacerbates our economic hardship. And of course, there have been calls from various quarters, particularly the NGOs, saying the most vulnerable need to be taken care of, perhaps increasing the social grant maybe for a period of 6 months, so to try and mitigate those kinds of concerns when it relates to issues of poverty. And of course, Francis, some people have also been saying, oh, well, given that the economic situation is really so dire, perhaps government may start to think about how to start perhaps reopening certain sectors of the economy without compromising the bigger fight, that of containing the virus, which you and I have just seen that, in fact, the numbers are rising, which should be of great concern to all South Africans.
Yeah. The president's communique says that this address flows from recent deliberations at Cabinet, the National Coronavirus Command Council, the President's Coordinating Council, NEDLAC, which you mentioned, which brings together government, labor and business. So it seems like a lot of effort has gone into getting everybody on the same page, Mzwai.
Absolutely. And I think, Francis, if you analyze how the president has been coming to take decisions relating to this pandemic, he's really been trying to get everyone on board. I mean, we saw him earlier, in the earlier stages, engaging with all political parties, religious sectors, business, and everyone. So he wants to take a decision that would have been informed by all South Africans. I think one of his calls has been to say, this is not about party politics. This is about the country. This affects us all in the same way. So whatever decisions that are taken, it is the decisions that should really benefit all South Africans, because at the end of the day, no one will be a winner if the decisions or the leadership of this country is reckless about how it approaches this matter. So it is in that spirit that he's engaged all people, and then he has given himself sufficient time. I think the last time Francis he addressed the nation was over a week ago, when he announced that he was extending the national lockdown until the 30th of April. So he has had all the time to engage all key sectors, to take their views into account, and of course take his own alliance partners into account. I mean, we've seen what is it that they've presented to the president themselves to say how they want this thing to be sorted out. But I think the bigger fight now is on all of us as South Africans to be able really to play our part, because whatever government is doing, it will only be won if all South Africans play their part.
All right, thank you very much, Mzwai Mbeje, reporting on the president's speech. We now have a time for you. 8:30 tonight is when the president will address the nation, and of course, we'll bring you that live. Residents of the Garden Route region of the Western Cape now have reached out to the poor and vulnerable during the lockdown.